Now I haven't used any white at all down here yet, and I suspect if I keep these fairly blue at the moment, it means that I can put in the effect of shadow on these little white flowers, get the layered effect, and then just highlight it with white later on. So I'm just shaping that up slightly at the moment. A little bit more petal shapes on these. Again, rather than one flower, I'm just working my way between them so that I can lead into the next shape. For instance, there's a very slight hint of the white flower here, which leads me into the yellow flowers. And in fact, we'll have just a hint with the green of the centre of that flower. Equally, the centre here. It always makes it slightly easier if you get some of these into position by just placing the centres and getting the elliptical shape, which helps to pull out some of the flower heads. That's beginning to come together. Let's just put a lovely splash of bright yellow in there now, just to pick that up. Now, that being a cleaner, crisper yellow now gives this a shadowy effect, which is rather nice. And then once you've done one or two, you see you can just put a few dots and dashes again, which suggests the rest of them. I'm going to come back up into here now because, again, coming back to the dark green, that's taking your eye round here. We'll shape up a few more petals here and leading us into a little bit of indigo again, because I'm working my way into another little batch of these purple flowers, purpley red. They're not going to be that important because they're just in the background. Now there's two of these flowers, this kind. I'm going to have these here, and this is a pretty important one because although it's in shadow here, it's rather nicely full on. It's resting on top of the other flower, so I'm just going to draw that shape in. Get the strongest purple I've got now. I'm going to be using, I've decided I'm going to be using mostly dry pastel now. The water's done its bit. Now, if you're experimenting with a little bit of water, you may want to paint further and keep working up dry pastel, more water, dry pastel, more water. In this particular instance, I think I'll keep to predominantly dry pastel and just use that first little wash of colour for giving me soft edges. But you can do anything. It's a lovely dark green shape, just breaking this up again in here. So I'm going to use that opportunity just to come in here. Not just the green shape, but the fact that there's a few of these hints of stems in there too that breaks that up. And our greenish yellow is going to come in here again. It's there and there. Little hints. Now that's beginning to just pick up a little. Yeah, that's rather nice. That's all beginning to come together now. Very tantalising because each little bit is being developed. Some of these centres are just going to be made a little bit more definite now. The point too is that everyone who does a bunch like this might select a different main flower that will be the focal point, and that's the beauty of painting and arranging flowers as such. Some of you might prefer with a vase of flowers to include the vase and do the whole bunch. So there's all sorts of opportunities, and that's what makes painting so individual. Now I've got some lovely white, real soft white here, which I'm now going to use just to highlight Getting into the real nitty-gritty now, the hints of detail. That's just catching the light there, which is rather nice. Let's do the same here. There's a lovely splash of light up here too. A hint maybe that there might be another little odd flower just lurking in the background there. That's almost helped just to push this back, because these back flowers are really not so important now. I'll maybe have one or two just to pick out, but I'd rather like the idea of them filtering out into this washy colour.